Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. And in today's stream, there's a few projects that I want to work on, and I'll see where I go once this is all done. And now it's taking a second to load. Oh wait, it finished saving now. I'm kind of glad I didn't go to Hollywood because it feels like every single day there's some news story going on. Like just earlier, I remember watching a show about like scary experiences and scary stories in Hollywood about like folks being creeps and people going to parties and being like different sort of hosts or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like God knew what he was doing. Cause like me, I wanted to go to LA, California, make it big, like try to start my own, not really start my own, but just like work in the animation industry. And it feels like, each day something new is coming out. And I'm like, you know, God has amazing foresight. I mean, of course, because he's God, but like, it's the fact that, and I do remember, and I do recall praying to him. I'm like, keep me safe, keep me out of trouble. Like, if something is meant to be, then let it be. And it's strange how he led me to still be able to get my degree, but in that same vein, he didn't allow me to move halfway to the other side of the country. So I do believe that my knowledge and my sphere is still necessary for what God has planned. It's just I personally haven't figured that out yet, which is okay because as humans we have a limited understanding of time. Like we don't know it all, we don't understand it all. Which is why we pray for clarification. I mean, like, just something new happening and new being discovered, if not every single day, every single other day. I mean, like, I'm scared, but I'm also excited because it leaves room for potential. I mean, next thing we know, we're gonna learn that like there's an underground civilization, or like there are there's more to the world than what we know. But those are just theories. Those are just things I'm saying. I mean, I really don't know how to take this and how to go about this. Because this is just supposed to be a stream about me talking about the projects I'm working on, and now I'm talking about my past. And, I have prayed for healing because, like, the whole thing, like, everything I've experienced from, like, the gatekeeping to the constant rejections, like, those have formed me into the person that I am. And I have been fortunate enough to pray and ask God for healing. And it's like on top of that healing, it's like I'm learning things and I'm learning truths about the industry that I want to be a part of, it's like, hey, like it's full of people who do XYZ to children. Or like, hey, many of these people who have their own shows, like they had to sell their soul or commit illicit acts. And I'm like, yeah, I think it's a good thing that I didn't go to Hollywood and I didn't try to do anything like that or live large like that. Like, I am definitely much happier. I'm definitely much happier living in my city. That's really the one thing I don't like. Is the one thing I don't like is just working in retail. But other than that, living in my city, like having my days where I go downtown and like I eat lunch at a cafe or I grab a cup of coffee every once in a blue moon, like that's nice. I enjoy that. If I can have more of that, then I would be happy. And if I can find a way to start my own business, then that works too. I mean, because really, the only thing I really want and enjoy is the process of making stories. So if I can make a living off of making stories and then just knowing my city and knowing the area and place where I live, then that'd be enough for me. Like honestly, I at least feel like I'm in the same boat with many of my fellow Gen Z people where it's like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. Oh, I'll be right back. My mom is calling me. Hello? Hey, mom. That was just me talking to my mom. She kept my discount card because she's going to be buying stuff from the store. And then I just asked her, I said, hey, can you also give me some cranberry juice? Because honestly, I love cranberry juice and I just got into it I've been into it for a while. That is another topic for another day. I'll probably have to leave that to like a special subscriber only stream or like that'll be a special subscriber only video because like I don't feel like I can tell that story. Of course, I can't tell that story. But just so you know, I am a changed man. I'm a holy man now. So don't try to hold my feet to the fire against my past. I am new and improved. But I was talking about my life. Like at this point, I know this is just like the Gen Z thing, but I just want to have a good, happy life. Like, yeah, I would like medical benefits. Of course, who wouldn't? But like, I'm not gonna be super hard on things and tough on things. Like, if I could just live a life where I could just like be in the city for a little while. And like that's the thing is you can be in the city and not be in New York City. Like every city has their own sort of like downtown area. I don't even have to live downtown if I really wanted to. Like if I could just have that moment in time where I can be downtown, like go to a cafe, like it's little things like that that really keep people sane. It's not necessarily like having the most money, but just like enjoying life. And that's sort of where the shift we're going through is right now, where people just want to enjoy life. And I do, in fact, believe that people are becoming more spiritual. Maybe not necessarily becoming Christians, but having a sort of spiritual mindset and manner about themselves because if we really do want to deep dive this, I'll probably go deeper in like a special stream just for this. But there is sort of this separation between kingdom and religion, where religion is sort of like a mode and behavior of belief, whereas kingdom is definitely more like there's this whole thing about being a kingdom Christian where folks don't really call themselves Christian, but they read the holy book, they follow the commandments, they more so see the faith as a way of life. And I do fairly consider myself a bit more in that category where I do still attend church, but like I am more so trying to consider and call myself a scholar of God rather than a Christian because I read my Bible. I don't just read my Bible, I read the Apocrypha. I try my best and do my all to be a light of the world and heal people and help people keep going amid struggle. But like and I guess that's another one of the difficulties because a part of me does believe that we are going through a tribulation. Like, yeah, I hope for the future, but then it's like with so much information coming out and so many wild and crazy things happening in the world, it's like, is the world ending? Which is why I still pray. Like, that's the thing is, I still pray. I try not to ignore, I don't ignore what's going on, but I pray for safety and security. Because oftentimes we have many believers who are very dogmatic. Like we have the people who go out and say, you're sinning, you're doing a terrible thing, you're going to burn. And I am of the belief that we have enough believers like that. Like we have enough warriors and fighters. And I'm a warrior in my own right. Like I don't excuse behavior and I don't try to reshape the word to fit my own devices, but I'm more so of the character and the guys where I want to give people belief. I want to get people to keep going and to keep trying to inspire hope in others. Because what people don't need is just 100 different voices from several different directions shouting them down and insulting them and shaming them and making them feel belittled. We're in that state in that area right now where more people do need to be enlightened. More people do need to have their hope replenished. And I would like to be that person that reminds people that there is still light in the world. Like that's my lot. That's my state. And on top of that, like I do consider myself not necessarily going to war with the church, but rather trying to expand it. Like my whole thing, the crux of my creative inspiration and desire and pursuit of art and animation is that Jesus, God, they both use parable. They both use parable, they both use storytelling, they both use symbolism. Like Jesus came down and he spoke to people. He had angels tell stories. He told stories himself. Like he used a lot of parable. Jesus' whole thing was his sermons and his parables because those who had the heart to listen would listen and learn. And that's my whole thing is using parables to provide complex storytelling, preserving knowledge and the faith through stories. And no, I will never ignore the world. Like, I will never ignore that, yeah, Hollywood is the devil. Okay? Hollywood is the devil. A lot of folks abuse storytelling in order to corrupt people. I get that. But in that same vein, not all storytelling is of the devil. And Jesus himself was a storyteller. So why can't we then use story to inspire people and to bring people closer to God? Like, I won't go deep into my friend's business, but like, I do have a friend who has had bad experiences with the faith. Like, he grew up a believer, and because of some bad actors in his church, he fell away from the faith. And I have a friend group who are believers as well, scholars as well. I never really pushed the subject to ask them, but I have one friend. She reads her Bible. She studies her Bible. I have another friend and his brother. Like they read their Bible. They also go above and beyond, and they also read other holy texts as well. Like they don't just stop at the Bible. They've also read the Tanakh, the Talmud, and then the Islamic holy book. I forgot the name of it. It's escaping me at the moment. But we talk about Jesus, we talk about God together, and we're close friends. And then in that same vein, because I am a creative person, and because I love creative games, like we play Dungeons and Dragons, we play Vampire the Masquerade, we play Cyberpunk together. I'm just now learning Shadowrun because I want to play a Shadowrun game. And so like this happened about, I want to say, a year and a half ago. But a I had homebrewed an entire Dungeons and Dragons world. And it follows this creation mythos of like a prime singular god by the name of the Old One. And so the Old One went out and he created the different planes of reality. He made the material plane, the astral plane, like the Feywild, different stuff like that. And then he made humans, elves, orcs, all these different fantasy races to be stewards of these different planes and different worlds. That was the age of creation. And so, in his purview, what he did not account for was the intermarrying and interbreeding of these different denizens of other planes. And so, because of the way the Old One made the world, the nature of these different peoples started to mesh with each other. Like people from the prime material having children with people from the Feywild, you had that trickster you had that trickster nature of the Fae meshing with the sort of like the uprightness and order of the material plane people, leading to chaotic beings known as Grigori or monstrosities. And this led to the Age of Chaos, where there was just a bunch of different monsters going around, destroying everything, committing violence. So then the Old One decided to. He called up his celestials and he called up his dragons and said, hey, go about the world, go about the planes, and we need to start severing these monsters. We need to start splitting their natures so that we can bring back stability to the world. And the world is, and Genokia, like even the word Genokia sort of calls back to what this sort of homebrew setting is based around. It's based on Genesis, the book of Revelations, and then the book of Enoch. Like sort of these marrying of different elements and different storylines and different eras of the Bible. So that's like the big three inspirations for the world of Genokia. And so like the spirits went out and they said, okay, we're gonna like the Old One has commanded us. And like that's the amazing thing, is like I literally put the God of the Bible in a D&D game and I started drawing inspiration from the Bible into my D&D setting. So like the angels and the dragons went out and they started like severing people. They started changing the land, rewarping the landscape because there was just so much going on in the world and it was so unstable. Many different forces that the Old One set out had to do their jobs that he tasked them with. And so after this was done, the Old One said, okay, my work is done, everything is stable. I'm going to go on vacation. Like, I'm going to go and slumber for a while. I've done all I can. So it's time for my children to blossom and come into their own. So he left four of his angels, his archangels in charge to be stewards and watch over the world and make sure everything is stable. So now the Old One is on vacation. He's out for a few thousand years. And then it comes about the Age of Heroes, where even though the old one handled much of these threats to where now the world's not in danger, but there's still some sort of like controlled chaos in the midst in the world. This led to the Age of Heroes, where they were just common mortal men and women who went out and they were like handling the remnants of this cataclysm that occurred. And so this is what led to myths and legends of the world, various different heroes of myth in the world of Genokia, like the king who slayed the dragon, or the giant who brought civilization and mercy to his people, like different figures and different entities and different NPCs that exist in the world. And so the archangels were beginning to see these people, they were beginning to ascend, become more renowned. And so the archangels had the idea, okay, like there is something about these people, they are becoming more powerful, they're becoming enlightened. And so that goes back to the age of creation, where when the old one created his people and humanity, he put certain aspects of himself in each of his children, in each of the people he created and birthed. And so this led to something known as the aspect of the old one, where if someone sort of either intentionally or inadvertently awakens their aspect of the old one and sort of comes into their own being, then they essentially ascend and they become more powerful and they have a longer lifespan, essentially becoming a greater steward of the world. So the archangel said, "Hey, let's do something with this. Like we were tasked with bringing stability to the world. Like these ascended beings, maybe they can also help us." So they started making something known as the divine cards, which sort of gave authority to certain ascended beings, and it essentially created the Age of Gods, where more so mechanically, they're not really gods. They're not really gods. They're more so like they're small g gods. They're more so akin to powers or principalities from the Bible, where it's like they have just authority over specific lands and land masses and nations. So the archangels start distributing these cards and say like, "Hey, watch over this area land, watch over this area land, like make sure this entity stays locked up, so on and so forth." And my players played as these ascended beings. Like I made them level 18. I made a special homebrew item for them, so on and so forth. And so that was the game we played. And they had to sort of struggle and maintain their nations while also handling existential threats that happen in the campaign. And it definitely brought me closer to God because it allowed me to understand and process the Bible more, as well as just require me to read more of the Bible so that I could properly understand what was going on in it, in order to draw more inspiration from these different stories and from these different histories of people. And then I even saw it in my friend group to where my friend, who he himself was struggling with his own faith, I saw that even though subtly, he was definitely coming back to it. and I haven't really pushed it too much. Like I've even prayed on it. I said, God, like help this person because I see that he's struggling, and I do have faith that he is going to come into his own because sometimes what we forget as believers, or sometimes what we forget to process, that is definitely more present in the faith of Christianity rather than people who just follow it but don't necessarily subscribe to any organized sort of modus operandi, is that many Christians try to push the religion or try to force or pressure people into it. Whereas sometimes what you gotta do is you just have to have like a tray of snacks with a cup of tea or coffee and just say, hey, like, would you like a cookie? Would you like a cupcake or a macaroon or something? And like you gotta like that's what we need is just content and stories and different engaging things that more so subtly bring people to the light rather than trying to force the light on them. Because I mean, I'm just being honest and this is from like an objective observation. But like many people, especially the more LGBT groups of people, like each of them have some sort of trauma with Christianity and with organized religion. Well, like that's just the objective truth is like there are many horror stories of like people getting dunked in water and people being put in ice baths or like those horrific conversion camps where they brainwash people and they do like a bunch of horrible stuff to people. It's like, what's needed is kindness and gentleness. And that's one of the amazing things about God and Jesus is that he comes to people how he is needed to come. For some people, he is aggressive, he is dogmatic. For other people, he's more so like the friend that like asks to sit beside you and like you talk for hours. Like he comes differently for different people who need him. And that's what we have to do as Christians is to come differently for different people that need the light. And we shouldn't seek to convert people right off the bat. What we should be seeking is to just be kind, be good, show a person that they are loved and appreciated, and have faith that more will come from that. Like that's how I operate. That's how I go about things. Like if I'm being completely honest, hate my job. I hate my job. I hate working in retail. Half the time I can't stand the people. Not necessarily not necessarily like the customers. The customers like I may see them only once in my life. Like those customers that I see two or three times, now those are the fun ones because I like to get up into conversation, or I'll say like, "Oh, how's that remote treating you?" Or "Oh, how's that VCR?" Yada yada yada, XYZ XYZ XYZ. But like the most difficult I come into contact with is definitely like coworkers, and in some cases management. I'm not gonna name names. I'm above that. But like that's the most trouble I come into contact with is management. And so despite that, despite my own feelings and misgivings, I still try to be positive, be kind, be upbeat. And I'm not And that's the thing is I'm not lying about myself or I'm not being disingenuous. Like this is my true self. Like my true self is a nice, kind, loving person. So I'm just trying to be good to people. And that's really the main thing I focus about and I care about is being good and kind. And that's what many of our brothers and sisters forget or forget to take account of is being kind, being good. You know what? I'm sitting here talking and I'm actually about to go because I need to finish getting ready for work. But, like, right now, all I really have to do is just do the animate the hair tie, which may take a minute. Oh, and there's also another small project I'm working on right now. Where is it? So I am working on a little stream animation where this is just gonna be like a 3 second loop of like this nice watery bubble effect. And I do need to add more effects. Like I'm gonna have to add some shadows and different stuff like that for this. But for the most part, this is how far I've gotten. I'll put I'll finish animating the shadows and then I'll put it through what's it called? After Effects to see if I can add some more effects. Maybe have like a small growing and contracting circle in this corner and then like a moving stream of bubbles that go diagonally down in there. But for the most part, this is what I got, and I just need to shade it. As well as maybe add like a few eraser marks somewhere around there. But yeah, this is gonna be like my whole streaming animation. And then I have plans to like just redo my entire stream layout. And I do also now this is gonna be like way in the future, but I do also have plans on like drawing some different PNGs for my little avatar that you see in this bottom corner right here. Maybe try to like make him a bit cuter if I can, like redo it. I mean I do like the sort of button up shirt with the blue vest and orange shawl around his shoulders because I'm trying to go for a more scholar look. Just because, I got my degree and that's the first thing I want people to know about me. But yeah, this little stream animation that's gonna be a little loop. Uh, Working on this fight animation. I just need to animate his hair ribbon, his pupils, and color. And then I'm still working on that, what's it called? I'm still working on that piece of fan art for Genshin Impact, and I also need to start working on those, my future character designs for the Seven Stages, because that's taking me a bit of time, because I want to start on that after I finish my fan art. But for the most part, yeah, those are my I'm just in that stage where I'm finishing multiple projects. So because of that, my attention has been kind of split, which is a bad thing, horrible thing. Don't do that. Like, don't split your attention. But yeah, that's how it goes. So just another day. another day in retail, another animation I'm working on. Oh, I have been getting back into exercise, and like for some reason, for the life of me, like I've been working out consistently for like the past 3 days, and I'm actually gaining weight. Like I was down to 205 for a while, then I got to 208. Now last time I weighed myself, I'm at like 215, 217, and I need to get that back under control. So I'm going to be drinking more tea. I'm going to be watching what I eat and the value of what I eat. And I'm just going to be doing a lot of prayer and fasting. Like Thursdays and Fridays are going to be my prayer fast days, okay? Because now that I'm more spiritually healed and spiritually ready, I need to get my body in order. Okay, like that's the thing. That's the thing. Because for a while there, my body was in order, but my mind and spirit wasn't in order. Now that my mind and spirit is in order, I just now need to get my body back in order, which shouldn't be too hard because if I'm being completely honest, I lost 40 pounds in the span of like 3 months, which is amazing. And since working in retail, I've sort of slowed down. I don't even jog as much. But I'm definitely trying to get back into it. So, through faith, I'm going to be a triple threat. And I'm even working with some clients, like with some. There's this one guy I'm working with. He has a business that he's trying to get off the ground. So I said, like, hey, have you started doing your do you have a business email yet? Do you have a business LinkedIn page? He said no. So I'm helping him with that. He's working on that. And I'm also going to be trying to work on some flyers for him. And as for my church, I'm also going to be working on digital posters for them. And I'll likely work on those I'll find some time either right before I go to work today, or I'll definitely work some more on them tonight before bed and see if I can get some rough designs out for them. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. That was this stream. 52 minutes. Like, it's not too bad. Thank you for stopping by and watching. Thank you for enjoying my beautiful and lovely words. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. And thank you for stopping by Owoh's Corner. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share even. I stream Tuesdays and Fridays. I usually start at around 10 a.m. Fridays are like hour-long streams, if that. And then, no wait, Tuesdays are like hour-long streams. Fridays are when I try to go a bit over. So I'll do 2.5 hours. Sometimes, rarely 3. But anyway, yeah, definitely look forward to Friday because those are my longer stream days. Anyway, this has been Owoh's Corner, my own little corner of art. I'll see you guys in my next video or live stream. Bye.